All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Today on the show, we are going through Proverbs 3, verses 21 through 22. Here we go. My son, do not lose sight of these. Keep sound wisdom and discretion, and they will be life for your soul and adornment for your neck. So, those are the verses. Here's my interpretation of it. Wisdom and discretion are life for your soul, in that it gives you energy. That's what I think of when I think of life for my soul. It like feeds me and it gives me energy, and not necessarily energy that makes me happy, just energy to keep going, energy to look at the situation with the proper perspective, just life force. And I think there are things that steal our life force, and then I think there are things that give us life force. And I think ultimately it feels good to receive life force. Maybe not, maybe so. I'm saying that it does. And then adornment for your neck. So when I hear life for your soul, I'm thinking it gives me energy, because I talk about things that give me energy and drain my energy all the time. And wisdom would be one of those things. Discretion would be another one of those things that give me energy. And then adornment for your neck. I'm pretty sure this is jewelry. And I'm pretty sure jewelry back in the day had something to do with status. Hey, I've been listening to Top G. He's been talking about status, Tate and Andrew Tate. And he's been talking about how men really like status on a recent podcast. And so maybe that's why I thought adornment for your neck meant status. But I also just think jewelry in general means status. And so when it says it'll be adornment for your neck, I'm lacking some cultural context here. Maybe that means something that I'm misinterpreting. But in my head, it means like it's going to give you energy, it's going to give you life force, and it's going to give you status in society and like the things you need to be the best version of yourself. So that's what I think it means by adornment for your neck. Let me know if that was wrong. And if it is, maybe I'll change the show notes of this episode, or you guys can look it up, because I've been clear that I'm not 100% sure. But here's the entrepreneurial application to this. Remind yourself of your goals and process every day with all the inputs in your life. And I'm focusing on that because in verse 21, it says, keep sound wisdom and discretion, for they will give you life force, they will give you energy, and they will give you status. And it kind of is an extension of what you focus on grows. And we talked about that in the last podcast. But keeping sound wisdom and discretion in my head just means reminding yourself of it. Like, to keep it, you need to remind yourself of it, and you need to expand on it and grow on it. And so when I say remind yourself of your goals and process every day with all the inputs in your life, yes, have your goal written down, your Proctor, Douglas, Hormozy statement, have it written down and have it memorized and have it clear in your head and go over it, for 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening, just meditate on it. But those are only two inputs in your life: 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening. I want it to be in all the inputs in your life. And so what a lot of us will do is we'll, have the vision board, have the dreams and goals, focus on whatever we're focusing on, but we'll only do it for a short amount of time. And so we'll spend 15 minutes in abundance and then 23 hours and 45 minutes in scarcity. And so the key here is to have all the inputs in your life be coordinated to push you towards your goal. So the actions you're taking, the job you're working, the workouts you're doing, the food you're eating, the friends you're talking to, the conversations you're having, every moment of every day, if it can remind you of your goals and your process, and all the inputs are inputs pushing you towards where you want to go as opposed to pulling you from where you want to go, then you'll get there a lot faster, and it'll be easier to keep wisdom and discretion in your life because you are constantly reminding yourself of it. So what things can you input in your life to remind yourself of it? I would say one, it's habits. So like the habit of waking up every morning and looking at your goals, going to sleep every evening and looking at your goals, reading every day. That's a habit. Working out, that's a habit that like keeps sound wisdom and discretion. But outside of that, I would say the most important things to do: get a baseline for what your life at home in the evenings look like, and then get a baseline for what your work life looks like, and then get a baseline for the people you hang around. Because outside of work, eating, working out, and evenings at home, like our life doesn't look much different outside of those two things. Most of it is taken up with like what we do in the morning, which is typically like getting prepared for work, which a lot of us will do by that 15 minutes, the workout, eating breakfast. Then you go to work. And then you work, and that's most of your day. Those inputs need to push you towards your goals and dreams and remind you of the process. And then you have your evening at home, and then you get ready for the next day, right? And so your evening at home also needs to be pushing you towards those goals. And yeah, that can be anything from eating with people who are great for you and who push you in that direction to doing more work, to relaxing if that's part of your goal and dream. So it's just important to remind yourself that the inputs in your life have an effect on you and make every input one that benefits you as opposed to hurts you. I'm not saying get like super crazy about this and spend all your time focusing on every single input, just killing yourself about optimizing. Just start saying no to stuff that doesn't serve you. And then eventually everything in your life will serve you. That's just Alex Hormozy simplifying everything in life as he does because he's a boss. Now, where has this shown up in my life? I would say constantly reminding myself of financial freedom and raising the standard of living across the world to middle class America so that I don't lose hope. And how do I constantly remind myself? This is a strange thing to do. And I wouldn't say I'm necessarily that this is the best way to do it. But I have the like Proctor Hormozy Douglas statement out there. But more than that, I think about it in everything that I do. And a lot of my lack of contentment actually comes from the fact that I think about it so much because I think about it. So don't follow my example. I think about it, then I am like, this action is not getting me to where I want to go. But then I don't cut off that action, whether that's because I'm scared of not having money, or I'm scared of disappointing a person, or I'm scared of being too contrary to society, whatever it may be. I think about my goal. I'm like, this action isn't necessarily getting me there. Like if I did this for 10 years, I wouldn't be any closer to my goal. If I did this for 20 years, I wouldn't be any closer to my goal, right? But then I'll continue to do that action, which then means I have no room for the actual actions. And then I'm beating myself up for not doing the actual actions and doing these other actions that I don't really care about. And I feel like that's a trap a lot of us get caught in because of our limiting beliefs. We believe we need certain things in our life. And the question you have to ask yourself is, you're willing to sacrifice so much for people you love. Why aren't you willing to sacrifice so much for things that you love? And so Alex Hormozy also talks about this. He's ruthless about his dreams and goals. He's like, if I'm going to be with me for the rest of my life and I want this thing, why would I sacrifice what I want, the relationship I'm going to have for the rest of my life, for something that somebody else wants for my life when it's not even relevant to their life? Like they're just trying to satisfy themselves by how I live my life, which ultimately you can't do. Like I'll live my life perfectly for them and they won't be any more satisfied. They'll just try to get the next person to conform as well to endlessly prove the fact that they're right because of their own insecurity. And that's just what people do. So, why would I do something that's net ineffective for both that person and me when I'm living with myself and I can at least do something that's effective for me and hopefully inspiring for that other person? Like, if I truly go become the best version of myself and I drop that need to change other people, make other people conform, it will inspire other people to do the same. And so for that reason, he's really good at cutting things that don't serve him. And he's been very clear about that on YouTube videos. I think that's a point where I struggle. I remind myself of my goals and process every day, but I don't take the necessary actions or make the necessary cuts that will further accelerate me. And then that's a big source of my discontent. So that's really where it has shown up in my life. Where do I want this to show up in my life? I would say more inputs that remind me, a curated environment. So I have inputs that remind me in a negative way. They kind of remind me that I can't, but I'm still pushing. And so it takes a lot of perseverance. It takes a lot of just mindset work when really it's like you just need to cut out some crap that is bad for you, and then you will skyrocket to your goals. And so more inputs that remind me and support me and push me towards my goals, as opposed to remind me in the sense that I am running towards my goals and they are pulling me back. It's not never that I give up on my goals, but it's just it feels like I'm pulled back by so many things, including myself, like beliefs that I have, thoughts that I have, and some stuff I have in my environment. Like it just holds me back. And ultimately, even the perception that I'm being held back is holding me back. Isn't that funny? But yeah, just more inputs that remind me, support me, and push me towards my dreams and goals, as opposed to, you know, just having to justify my actions and having to look at my bank account and not seeing that there's money in it, and just explain myself to people around me, as opposed to like, I should have to explain away the reasons I'm at a job. I should have to explain away the reasons I'm playing Fortnite. I should have to explain away the reasons I'm waking up later than I need to. Instead, a lot of my environment is like explaining away the reasons I'm doing things that are so bold, explaining away the reasons that I'm taking so much risk, right? And that's just not helpful, because if I doubt and they doubt, it's like it's just a party of doubt. And so where's the like conviction? And so yeah, cutting that out, more inputs that remind me and support me. Um, and some people are just like they don't understand, and they're just at a stage where they don't realize how harmful it is. And a lot of times that's family, and you don't need to cut them out. Just have sparse conversation with them about dreams and goals, and just keep it to other stuff, and still love them, still have holidays with them. But in the words of Darren Hardy, some people are 2-minute people, some people are 30-minute people, and some people are 5-day people. And you need to make sure that you let the 5-minute people be 5-minute people and love them for that 5 minutes. But after that 5 minutes, make sure you go hang out with your 5-day people. And those are the people who are pushing you towards your dreams and goals, holding you accountable to the person you want to become. So, how can you apply this to your life? I would say write down a goal and hang it up in your room. That is the first thing that can be a constant reminder. Just read it on the way out of your room, read it on the way into your room. Like, just continually dwell on that Proctor Hormozy Douglas statement. So there we go. That's all we got for you on the show today. Thank you guys so much for listening. And on that note, we'll see you on the next one. We're out.